The boy who listened. The mansion stood as a gleaming testament to achievement, perched on a hill in the wealthiest part of the city. Inside, Michael, a man of sharp suits and sharper ambitions, gazed out at his empire. Every brick, every window pane was a reflection of decades of relentless effort. His wife, Rachel, entered the room, her presence as poised as ever. She wore a smile that could light up a room, but carried a shadow behind her eyes, one Michael was too preoccupied to notice. "Michael," she murmured softly, "is this the paradise you've always dreamed of?" He turned, his smile genuine and proud. "Yes, Rachel. This is everything I've ever worked for, everything for us." His words rang with conviction, but they fell flat against her unreadable expression. Rachel nodded, turning toward the mirror to adjust her necklace. "We should celebrate," Michael suggested. "Dinner tonight at your favorite place. You deserve it." "Of course," she replied, her voice carrying a hidden weight. Michael returned to his emails, oblivious to the turmoil brewing around him. A meeting in the shadows. Rachel's car pulled into the quiet, dimly lit parking lot of a nearby grocery store. Terry, Michael's younger brother, leaned against a lamppost. His face was a mask of impatience and greed. "Everything's ready," Rachel whispered, stepping closer. Terry smirked. "Tomorrow, he'll take the car. The brakes will fail. It'll look like an accident." Rachel nodded. "No one will suspect a thing. We'll have everything. The mansion, the company, the money." Their whispered conspiracy drifted into the night, reaching ears they did not know were there. A young boy named William, no older than 13, crouched behind a dumpster nearby, his body trembling from the cold. Homeless and alone, he had taken refuge in the parking lot, not expecting to overhear something so sinister. William's dilemma. William's heart pounded as he pieced together what he'd heard. He didn't know Michael, but he understood enough to realize that a man's life was in danger. The idea of doing nothing gnawed at him. But what could he, a homeless boy, possibly do? Who would believe him? He watched as Rachel and Terry left, their voices fading into the night. The boy made a decision. He would find this man named Michael and warn him. Following the clues. The next morning, William stationed himself near the gates of the mansion he had followed Rachel to the night before. He hid in the shadows, watching as luxury cars and impeccably dressed staff came and went. Finally, a sleek black car pulled up to the gate. William saw his chance. He darted into the path of the car, waving his arms frantically. The vehicle screeched to a halt, and the driver rolled down the window to reveal a man with an air of authority and irritation. "Michael, what on earth are you doing?" Michael demanded. "Sir, please," William begged. "I need to talk to you. It's about your car. Someone's tampered with it. Your wife and brother. They're planning something terrible." Michael's face darkened with disbelief. "You're accusing my wife, my brother. This is nonsense." "I know it sounds crazy," William said, desperation in his voice. "But please, just check your brakes before you drive." Michael hesitated. There was something in the boy's eyes, a raw honesty that made him pause. Against his better judgment, he called his mechanic to inspect the car. Moments later, the truth was laid bare. The brakes had indeed been tampered with. Betrayal revealed. The realization hit Michael like a thunderbolt. Rachel, the woman he had trusted and loved, and Terry, his own brother, had plotted against him. Betrayal cut deeper than any physical wound. Michael turned to William, his expression a mixture of gratitude and anguish. "You saved my life," he said, his voice trembling. "Why would you risk yourself for someone you don't even know?" William shrugged, his face serious. "Because it was the right thing to do. No one deserves what they were planning." Turning the tables. Michael's mind raced. Confrontation wasn't enough. He needed to ensure Rachel and Terry faced justice. He turned to William. "I'll need your help. Are you in?" The boy nodded, his determination matching Michael's. Together, they crafted a plan. Michael contacted his lawyers, revising his will so that any suspicious death would leave Rachel and Terry with nothing. Meanwhile, he instructed his security team to discreetly monitor Rachel's and Terry's movements. The trap. The following morning, Michael pretended to leave as usual, ensuring Rachel saw him drive away in a car with faulty brakes. Unbeknownst to her, the vehicle had been rigged with a safety override system. As planned, the car skidded to a halt on a deserted road, and Michael stepped out unharmed. Meanwhile, his security team captured Rachel and Terry on hidden cameras as they celebrated their supposed success, redemption, and justice. When Michael returned to the mansion that evening, Rachel was waiting, feigning concern. But her mask fell when Michael revealed what he knew. "I trusted you," he said, his voice heavy with pain. "But you chose greed over love." Rachel and Terry were arrested, their plot exposed for all to see. A new beginning. In the days that followed, Michael found himself reflecting on the boy who had saved his life. He sought out William and made him an offer that would change both their lives. "You've shown more courage and integrity than most people I know," Michael said. "I'd like to give you a home, an education, a chance at a better life." Tears welled in William's eyes as he nodded. For the first time, he felt hope, a chance to belong. Michael's near tragedy became a turning point. He learned that trust should never be given blindly, and that true wealth lies not in material possessions, but in integrity, courage, and human connection. And William, the boy who had once been invisible, found his voice and his place in the world. Together, they began a new chapter, proof that even in the darkest moments, light can be found. The plan unfolds. The morning sun cast a golden hue over Michael's sprawling estate, but to him, the grandeur now felt hollow. His heart was heavy with the weight of betrayal. Yet, amidst the turmoil, a glimmer of determination burned bright. He had to take control, not just for himself, but for everyone who relied on his leadership and integrity. Standing in his study, Michael looked at William, the boy who had shown more courage than people 3 times his age. "William," Michael said, his voice steady, "what you've done has given me a chance to fight back. But exposing the truth isn't enough. We need to show them for who they are." William nodded, his small frame tense with resolve. "I'll do whatever it takes, sir. They won't get away with this." Rallying allies. Michael's first step was to secure his inner circle. He called his trusted attorney, Daniel, a man known for his discretion and unshakable loyalty. "You need to rewrite my will," Michael explained. "If anything suspicious happens to me, Rachel and Terry get nothing. Every cent will go to charity." Daniel, though shocked, didn't question Michael's decision. "I'll have it ready by the end of the day." Next, Michael contacted his head of security, Marcus, a former detective with an uncanny ability to read people. "I need surveillance on Rachel and Terry. Discreet but thorough." Marcus's brow furrowed. "You suspect them of something serious?" Michael hesitated but then nodded. "More than you can imagine." The boys roll. Meanwhile, William took on a vital part of the plan. His street smarts and ability to go unnoticed made him the perfect spy. Michael gave him a simple phone and taught him how to discreetly record conversations. "Your job is to keep an eye on Rachel and Terry," Michael said. "Listen, observe, and don't let them know you're watching." William's eyes gleamed with determination. "I won't let you down." The conspirators' misstep. Rachel and Terry, believing their plan was flawless, began to let their guard down. They met again in a secluded cafe, whispering about their next steps. William, dressed in oversized clothes that helped him blend into the background, sat nearby, pretending to sip on a glass of water. "We're so close," Terry said, his voice low but filled with excitement. "Once it's done, we'll have everything. You'll live like a queen, Rachel." Rachel smirked. "And no one will suspect us." Michael's so trusting. It's almost laughable. Unbeknownst to them, William's phone was recording every word. His heart raced as he kept his face neutral, resisting the urge to confront them then and there. Setting the trap. Armed with the recordings and surveillance footage, Michael prepared the final phase of his plan. He invited Rachel and Terry to the mansion for dinner, intending to confront them subtly while ensuring he had all the evidence needed to protect himself. "Rachel," he said over the phone, his tone calm and affectionate, "I've been so busy lately. Let's have a family dinner tonight. Just you, me, and Terry." Rachel hesitated, but her greed won over her caution. "Of course, darling. It'll be lovely." Terry, equally unsuspecting, agreed. A night of revelations. That evening, the mansion's dining room was lavishly set, with soft candlelight and an air of sophistication. Rachel arrived in an elegant dress, her demeanor calm and composed. Terry followed shortly after, dressed sharply but with a nervous edge. Michael greeted them warmly, masking the storm brewing inside him. "To family," he said, raising a glass of wine. As the dinner progressed, Michael steered the conversation toward loyalty and trust. "It's funny," he mused, "how the people closest to us often shape our lives the most. Wouldn't you agree, Rachel?" Rachel's smile faltered for a moment. "Of course," she replied, her voice steady, but her eyes wary. Michael leaned back in his chair, his gaze sharp. "And yet, trust can be so easily misplaced. Don't you think, Terry?" Terry fidgeted, his confidence slipping. I suppose." The tension in the room thickened as Michael placed his glass down with deliberate care. "You see, I've been thinking a lot about trust lately, and how it feels to have it shattered." Rachel's composure cracked. "Michael, what are you talking about?" Michael gestured toward the doorway. Marcus entered, holding a tablet. "I thought you might want to see this." On the screen, the footage played. Rachel and Terry in the cafe, their damning conversation recorded in crystal clarity. The color drained from Rachel's face as the truth was laid bare. The aftermath. Rachel and Terry's protests were futile. The evidence was overwhelming. Michael had already contacted the authorities, and within hours, the two were taken into custody. The charges of conspiracy and attempted sabotage ensured they would face justice. But for Michael, the betrayal left a scar. He stood on the balcony of his mansion that night, looking out at the city lights, his heart heavy yet resolute. A new purpose. In the weeks that followed, Michael focused on rebuilding, not just his life, but also his sense of purpose. He decided to honor William, the boy who had risked everything to save him. "William," Michael said one afternoon, as the boy sat across from him in the study, "you've taught me something invaluable. Courage and integrity aren't defined by wealth or status. They come from within." Michael offered William not just a home, but also an education and a chance to dream beyond the confines of survival. The boy, once invisible to the world, now had a place in it, a place where he could thrive. Michael's ordeal became a reminder that true wealth isn't measured in possessions, but in the strength of one's character and the people who stand by you. For William, it was proof that even the smallest voice can make a difference. Together, they began a journey of healing and growth, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the power of doing what's right, even when it's hardest. And so, the mansion, once a symbol of material success, became a home filled with purpose and hope, a sanctuary for those who dared to choose integrity over greed. A new chapter begins. The weeks following Rachel and Terry's arrest were a whirlwind for Michael. The scandal had rocked not only his personal life, but also his professional empire. Newspapers buzzed with the details of the betrayal, painting Michael as a man who had narrowly escaped a tragic fate. But Michael, despite the turmoil, found himself thinking less about what he'd lost and more about what he'd gained: clarity, purpose, and an unlikely friendship with William, the boy who had saved his life. Building a bridge of trust. One morning, as the first light of dawn painted the sky, Michael found William sitting on the sprawling lawn of the mansion. The boy was staring at the horizon, lost in thought. "Couldn't sleep?" Michael asked, approaching with 2 cups of hot cocoa. William looked up and shook his head. Still feels strange, staying in a place like this. Michael handed him a cup and sat beside him on the grass. It's not just a place, William. It's your home now. William hesitated. I've never really had a home before. It feels temporary, like it could disappear any moment. Michael's heart ached at the boy's honesty. This isn't temporary. You've earned your place here, not just because of what you did for me, but because of who you are. You're part of my family now. The words hung in the air, heavy with meaning. For William, they felt like a warm embrace, one he hadn't known he needed until that moment. Rebuilding trust, rebuilding lives. Michael threw himself into his work, but with a new perspective. For years, he had prioritized wealth and success over everything else, believing that material achievements would bring him fulfillment. Now, he saw the cracks in that belief. He began to reshape his company, implementing programs to support underprivileged youth. William became the face of the initiative, his story inspiring others to believe that even the smallest actions could make a difference. You're making me famous, William teased one day as Michael showed him a draft of a press release about the program. Michael laughed. You were already a hero. The world just didn't know it yet. Facing the shadows. Despite the progress, there were still shadows lingering in Michael's heart. One evening, he received a letter from Rachel. Against his better judgment, he opened it. The letter was a mixture of regret and defiance. Rachel apologized for the pain she had caused but didn't take full responsibility for her actions. Instead, she blamed the life they had built together, claiming it had suffocated her. Michael read the letter in silence, his emotions a storm of anger, sadness, and disbelief. He folded it neatly and placed it in a drawer, deciding that some wounds were best left in the past. William's journey. As the months passed, William began to thrive. With Michael's support, he enrolled in school for the first time in years. The transition wasn't easy. He often felt out of place among kids his age who couldn't begin to understand his past. But he was determined to make the most of this opportunity. One day, he came home with a drawing he'd made in art class. It was a simple sketch of a boy standing in the shadow of a grand mansion, looking up at its towering walls. Above the mansion, the sky was filled with stars. Michael studied the drawing for a long moment. What's this about? He asked. William shrugged, a shy smile on his face. It's about hope, and how even when things feel too big to handle, there's always something bigger, something brighter. Michael felt a lump in his throat. It's beautiful, William, just like your story. A celebration of new beginnings. As the anniversary of that fateful day approached, the day William had stepped in front of Michael's car to save his life, Michael decided it was time to celebrate. He organized a gala, inviting business leaders, community members, and even a few of the people who had once dismissed William as just another street kid. The theme of the event was the power of one. At the center of the ballroom, a spotlight illuminated a single chair with a plaque that read, "Dedicated to those who choose courage over comfort and integrity over indifference." Michael gave a speech that evening, his voice steady but filled with emotion. A single act of bravery can change the course of a life. It can save someone, inspire someone, or even spark a movement. William taught me that, and I hope his story will teach all of you the same. The room erupted in applause as Michael gestured for William to join him on stage. The boy hesitated at first, but finally stepped forward. His cheeks flushed, but his head held high. For William, it was a moment of validation. For Michael, it was a moment of redemption, a future rewritten. In the years that followed, Michael and William's bond only grew stronger. Together, they expanded their programs to reach more young people, offering shelter, education, and hope to those who needed it most. William blossomed into a confident, compassionate young man. He excelled in school, discovering a passion for art and storytelling. Michael encouraged him to pursue his dreams, even commissioning some of William's pieces for his office and the mansion. One day, as they stood in the same spot where they'd first spoken, Michael turned to William and said, "You've taught me more about life than all the business deals I've ever made." William grinned, "And you've shown me what family really means." The lesson endures. Michael's mansion, once a symbol of isolation and ambition, became a place of laughter, growth, and love. Its doors were always open, not just to William, but to others who needed a fresh start. For both Michael and William, the journey had been filled with challenges, but it had also been a testament to the power of second chances and the strength of the human spirit. Together, they proved that no act of kindness is ever too small, and no life too insignificant to make a difference. And so their story became a beacon of hope, reminding everyone that even in the darkest moments, there is always a chance for light. The strength of a shared journey. As the years unfolded, the lives of Michael and William intertwined in a way that neither could have predicted. The boy who once slept in the shadows of parking lots now stood tall as a symbol of courage, integrity, and resilience. And Michael, the man who once believed that success was measured in dollars and achievements, discovered a deeper truth about what truly mattered. One crisp autumn evening, Michael and William sat on the mansion's balcony, overlooking the city lights. It had become their tradition, a quiet moment to reflect on how far they had come. "You know," Michael began, swirling his glass of tea, "I used to think that life was all about building walls, protecting myself, achieving things, but you taught me something I never expected." William looked up, his curiosity piqued. "What's that?" "That life is about bridges," Michael said. "It's about connecting with people, about trust, and about standing for what's right, even when it's hard." William smiled, a quiet pride evident in his expression. "You taught me something too," he said. "That just because life starts one way doesn't mean it has to end that way. We all have the power to change, to grow, and to help others do the same." A legacy of hope. The programs they had built together flourished, transforming the lives of hundreds of young people who had been written off by society. The initiative was named the Second Chance Project, and its motto, "Every life matters, every voice counts," was inspired by William's brave act of speaking up that fateful day. The mansion, once a private fortress, became a hub for community events, mentoring programs, and charity drives. It was no longer just Michael's home. It was a home for hope. As their story became known, people around the city and beyond were moved by its powerful lesson. Courage comes in many forms. Sometimes, being brave doesn't mean being the strongest or the loudest. It means doing the right thing, even when it's the hardest choice. Kindness can change lives. A single act of compassion, like William's decision to warn Michael, can ripple outwards and create unimaginable change. Wealth is more than money. True wealth lies in the relationships we build, the lives we touch, and the legacy we leave behind. Michael's transformation reminded viewers that no matter how successful or powerful someone may seem, they are never beyond the need for connection, humility, and growth. And William's journey showed that no matter how invisible or powerless you may feel, you have the ability to make a profound difference in the world. A promise to the future. As the night deepened, William looked at Michael and asked, "Do you think we've done enough?" Michael placed a hand on his shoulder, his face calm and assured. "Enough? No, but we've made a start. And sometimes that's all it takes." The two sat in silence, the weight of their shared experiences lightened by the knowledge that they had turned pain into purpose and betrayal into a beacon of hope. The story of Michael and William serves as a reminder. No matter where you come from, no matter how broken or betrayed you may feel, you have the power to rewrite your story. Whether through courage, kindness, or integrity, you can create a brighter future, not just for yourself, but for others. Because in the end, the most meaningful success isn't what you achieve. It's what you give, what you stand for, and the difference you make in the lives of others. And as the stars twinkled above that mansion, it was clear that both Michael and William had found something far more valuable than riches. They had found purpose, hope, and each other.